Okay, so since my last little video, I thought I'd pop this one up as well. This is a company I use their software, Spybot, Search and Destroy. It's really good for adware, malware, tracking cookies, things like that. Anyway, on their site, if you go to products, and you go down here, you'll see Spybot anti-beacon. So in the last video, I showed you how to disable those patches that report back to Microsoft. This basically just does the same thing, but it's just a little nicer. So go to download, save. It's not very big, doesn't take a lot of space. Okay, so it's downloaded. Now go to open that folder that it downloaded to. Double click on it, say run. Yep. Say okay, next, accept, next, next. It doesn't install anything but this program. I'm going to put a shortcut on the desktop. It's up to you if you want to or not, obviously. There was actually two options. Leave it on the desktop and check for check things at startup. I forget the exact wording. You want both of those checked, and because what's going to happen is with that other one checked, it's going to in the background it's going to remember your choices in this part of the program, and every time you start Windows, it's going to make sure that if any new updates hit Windows and unblocks what you've blocked, it'll actively go back and block them again, because Microsoft has figured out that people are starting to turn off this telemetry stuff, so they're pushing out updates to turn those updates back on. It's kind of don't even get me started. So anyway, when you get to this screen, this will be what you see after you launch it. Just hit immunize. Now this works for 7, 8, 8.1, and 10. I don't know. I don't think it works for Vista, but I don't think they're doing this on Vista, so it's probably just as well. There's some optional stuff here. I would suggest hitting these. I do, because I don't want them tracking all this, tracking me or anything I'm doing. Here's a little log. In case you have any questions, you can get it there. But so now, what's going to happen, I'll close that. Now every time I reboot, it's going to remember those settings. And if Microsoft in the background turns them back on, it's going to go ahead and disable them. So, you know. Now, I use Spybot not only to scan my system and check for malware, whatever, but when you immunize your system, one of the things it does is it kind of hardens your system a little bit so you don't get malware and what have you. So if I go, oops, let me get that out of the way. So if I go to Windows, etc, I think that's, is it etc? No, it's driver then etc. I always get that backwards because I'm so used to Linux. Oh, there it is. Okay, so if you go under C Windows System 32, drivers, etc, you have a host file here. This is what Windows looks at when you make a request to go out to the internet, or when any application does. It's going to check this file, and tell you what, let's open it in Notepad, just so we can see it. And it looks for any entries in here first. Now, Windows 10, Microsoft has changed it. Like the browser, like the Edge browser, for example, doesn't use the host file at all. And Google's kind of trying to get away from it. So anyway, if I were to hit any of these known malware websites or adware websites, or if anything on my system tries to get to them, it's not. It's going to go to the local system. And so if I were, let's say, if I were to pull this up in my web browser, let's go back over here, pop that in. Oh, didn't paste for some reason. So copy, paste. So now if I try to go there, that's what you get. So a lot of this malware stuff, if it gets on your system, one of the things it tries to do is go out and get its payload and infect your system. More often than not, the part that does the checking to go out and get the payload is not a virus or a malware itself, but most virus and malware scanners will know it's there and it's easy to get rid of. It's when the payload hits your system, that's what's hard to get rid of. So anyway, so there's that. So I would suggest both of these. Oops, I didn't mean to make that full screen. I would suggest both of these items if you're a Windows user. Spyware, Search and Destroy, it can run with whatever virus scan you're running. Personally, I run Microsoft's Security Essentials. It's really all you need. And quite frankly, I have this and I have this, and that's pretty much all I ever use on any of my systems. And I don't get viruses. It's just that simple. This does a fairly decent job of catching most known viruses. This does a really good job about all sorts of things, right? The one thing you're going to want to do is when you first install Spybot Search and Destroy Center, after it does all the updates and everything and you immunize it, it's going to want you to do a scan. But before you do the scan, it's going to want you to create a whitelist. I highly recommend it. Depending on your system, it could take a long time. I had one dual core system in here the other day with 2 gig of RAM and a 300 gig hard drive. It took like almost a full day. So, but I would suggest doing it. It just makes scans after that super fast because it can skip the files for which it knows about. If that makes sense. So after you install this, I would suggest making sure you're up to date, and then go in and click Immunization. I'll let that come up, and it'll say check. It's testing now, and it's going to take longer this time than it will the first time you run it, because it's basically checking to see if you're immunized, but also to make sure that the settings haven't been changed. You know, and if it has, it'll prompt you and say, is this really what we want? So we'll let this finish. And I am getting separate channels for this stuff, but for now I'm going to leave it on here until I get things set up. Okay, and then you just hit immunization, and then it goes through and it updates that host file and a bunch of other things. Just protects you, gives you that little belts and the suspender, if you will, kind of thing. And then Spyware Beacon will pretty much run in the background. You don't really have to do anything with it. You might launch it every now and again, just to make sure. See, like now it's saying, "Oh, hey, look what I found." So I'll go in and I'll say immunize it, which just did. Go check optional. They're all blocked still. So now every time you boot up, it's going to check to make sure all of these are done. And I would say, like I said, you know, that these haven't been undone by Microsoft. Let's put it that way. I would say once a month, just launch this and check for any new things that it's found. Microsoft's just not that fast at updating that thing, so I'm not too concerned about it. But anyway, so between this and so those two programs, Spybot Anti-Beacon, Spybot Search and Destroy, a virus scan. Again, I use Microsoft Security Essentials or Komodo, any of the Komodo products. It's up to you if you want to use those. Whatever you want to use, it's up to you. And then for my browser, the only add-ons I have is Privacy Badger and uBlock and Origin. That's the important key here, Origin. And if you install this, and I highly recommend that you do, if you have AdBlock Plus, or just uBlock, I would highly, highly recommend you change it for uBlock Origin. Then go in, show dashboard, third-party filters, and then just check all these filters. The different languages, don't worry about regions and languages. Unless you're in one of these regions, don't worry about it. Just do these. And then click on Update Now, and then apply. There'll be an apply button over here, and then you're good to go. If you have a site where, oh, see, look, they've added a new one. See, here's apply. So I apply it. And If you have a site that you want to whitelist, say I go to the single overhead cam 4 forums a lot, so I'll put this in here, and what that does is now it won't block ads on the site. And I want to contribute to the site, and I know the site, I know the guy that runs it, and they do their best. I mean, if there was ever an malware or adware thing get on their site, I know it wasn't because anything they did. Plus, I have enough going on with these two programs and my virus scan to catch anything. This is just, again, belts on a suspender sort of thing. So anyway, that's what I would suggest. You block Origin. Privacy Badger, I like that. It's run by I believe the EFF. It's a good one. And then Disconnect would be another one. If you're on social sites a lot, I would install this one too. Let's go into. Oh, there's the dryer. So it helps by blocking. When you go to a site and it says, "Oh, click here to tweet this website to all your friends," that's an active button running in the background. It's also programs running in the background, more accurately JavaScript. And if you're a person who stays logged into Twitter all the time, it's tracking that information, and it can use that information to tweet out on your behalf. Now, it has to be a pretty nasty site to do that. I mean, I'm not, but why take the chance? Just install this and you're good to go. And again, you can go in and tell it to whitelist sites that you want to support. I use DuckDuckGo for my search engine. So, use whatever you want. I like it because it does a couple things. One, there's no ads. Two, it doesn't track. And three, it doesn't put you in a search bubble like Google does now. Bing. Now, a lot of people like that, because if you search for a certain thing all the time, that bubble helps eliminate stuff. Like if I'm searching for something for a fix for Windows, I don't want to see ads for window panes, right? And so Google's really good about filtering that stuff out. Bing's getting better. But unfortunately, too many times I've searched for window pane stuff and wound up with Microsoft Windows links, and so for me, it doesn't make sense. Plus, I like the fact that it searches Yahoo, Bing, Google, Wolf from Elfra, and on a couple other sites. So if I do, let's say Linux Mint, just for one thing, this is what you get. You'll get something that says, yeah, this is the official site. It'll give you a little information about it up here, which you can turn all this off. The Wikipedia, so on and so forth. So, I mean, you get all that stuff. Now, if you want to, let's say I know a picture of something I'm looking for is on Google, and I don't want to sift through a bunch of pictures just to find it. It's no problem. Just pound. So you do the exclamation point. GI for Google Images. You could use BI for Bing Images, whatever. And let's do 1975 Honda CB550. And that takes you right to Google and gives you the results, right? You could do the same thing with Bing Images. So it'll search for Bing Images, 1975 Honda CB550. So now it's going to return just image results from Bing. And if you notice, when I hit this, it shows you what you can search. So if you do exclamation point Wikipedia, it's only going to search that. But these are all the sites it searches for you, right? And if you haven't checked out Wolf from Elfra, it's actually a pretty cool site. So anyway, it'll search all these things for you and return back the results in the one page. It doesn't put you in a bubble. That is, you don't end up getting results for Microsoft Windows products when what you're searching for is how to replace a window frame. See what I'm saying? They also don't they don't pull any nasty stuff. They don't do anything. They don't have ads, so you're not going to get adware or malware from ads, because even on the search result page you don't get any of that. So that's the sort of the things I do. Again, do what you want to do at your own deal. This isn't a virtual box. I don't really run Windows, but I do keep a virtual box of Windows 7 up for times like this. So anyway, hopefully that clears that up and makes life a little easier for some people, because all of that is easy to do. The average Joe can use it, can do it. That's not really a problem. So it's really just actually doing it. Just taking a few minutes of your day and doing it. Now, if you're going to scan, if you're going to install this stuff, run the scan after you install it. It's going to chew up some of your day, admittedly, so do it on a weekend or whatever when you have time to just let it happen, and that'll keep you from having any problems. It'll speed up your machine too, because you won't have all that crap running in the background. And all of these plugins for Firefox and Chrome, because they are available on Chrome and Firefox, they're also available on mobile devices. So that might not be a bad idea to cut down on the data usage on your cell phone or your tablet if you use them with a cellular network. So, okay. Anyway, I'm done rambling, I hope. All right. Talk to you later.